JBS00320 representing JBS. I'm back here again for another review for Luke Cage Season 2, Episode 6, The Basement. I gotta say this because I never thought that they would take something that I felt was a flaw and just make it into something very interesting. While Luke Cage is like forced to protect this man that's obviously a misguided broker, man, on the cusp of being a criminal, he gets the understanding and a revelation about who this man really is, and in turn gets a revelation about who he is escaping, what he's trying to be with what he's actually doing. And I think that the whole aspect about the daddy part of things, it was just really interesting. I'm really impressed how they were able to make the decision. I thought, instead of just getting Danny to give them money, and instead going with this guy Piranha, they make him a very interesting character. I pray that he actually lives through the remainder of the season, because I think that he'd be more interesting moving into like a season 3 of Luke Cage if they have it. And I think they do a really good job with it. I gotta sneeze. Can't do it. Sorry. And it's just really interesting how that all panned out. And I'll get to Bushmaster later on, because Bushmaster had a really interesting arc with his family and the uncle that raised him, and was like trying to get him out of this methodology of what he's trying to do and this spite for revenge against Mariah. And it's like, I think that the problem with that, it's like the actor's doing a good job. The background noise is doing a really good job, but there hasn't been this defining episode that showed, like, visually, the depths of why he's so angry. I feel like there needs to be a flashback episode of the birth of Bushmaster and his need for revenge. Not just on ambition, but literally give me something of substance that keeps me carried and invested into the character moving forward. Because, I mean, definitely he's a formidable opponent. Definitely the man's acting it great. Definitely the surrounding people around him and the culture is there. And it's like a culture versus like African American culture. And then you got, oh man, Jamaican culture there in the same exact midst in New York. And it's just so interesting how they're able to go back and forth with that. It's just the problem is that they need some kind of substantial moment to let me be like, okay, this is why he is the way he is. And I'm just waiting for that. And I hope that by the end of the season they do that. The other thing about this episode is that this marks the halfway point. Last season, the halfway point was when things went downhill as soon as Cottonmouth died, and I'm worried. I'm very worried. Now, they added in some things in this episode when it came to Shades and Che. I have been suspecting for a hot minute. Matter of fact, when Shay showed up, I was like, yo, who is this cat? You know, yeah, y'all were like, you know, in the pen together, y'all were buddies beforehand, but it was like, who is this dude? And he's definitely your mole, and you don't realize it, but yet you trust him so intimately. And then I didn't realize, yo, yeah, I was right. Like, they acted that so well. The guy that's playing Shades, honestly, doing the best acting almost out of everybody, because, like, the way he telegraphs himself, he carries himself like this character doesn't trust anybody, but he's in bed with everybody, and he's openly putting himself out there, you know what I'm saying, to close-knit people that are ultimately going to deceive him, mistreat him, betray him, you know what I'm saying. And that happened kind of last season, but it's like in this one it's way more weird when it comes to Mariah. But then the whole thing with Shade, like the revelation this episode, that was an interesting twist to say the least. Mariah's sister, I mean not sister, but her daughter, she ain't got nothing to do with her at this point. I think that Luke is going to need Tilda's help though, ultimately. I think that's going to be the thing that's going to really be able to help him moving forward. Misty going through this revelation about who and what she is. She's met with the old boy from Rescue Me. He's a great actor. I thought that was a really dope scene. The only thing I had a problem with, honestly, was two different moments where the captain was doing his dirt on the side when it came to Mariah, but didn't, you know, talk to Misty about it. And it's like, all up until from episode 1, from the first moment we met him, I was like, oh, okay, cool. He understands who Misty needs to be. It's going to telegraph her to go the right way. up from episode 1 until now, like, I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro? It's evident she's dealing with this. It's evident she's right about this. Like, you're just not telegraphing it right. Then when she goes like, oh, I did this, like, I'm sorry, I'm done. And he's like, no, I understand. It's okay. I can work with that. I'm like, dog, you pushed too hard then, because she is like done. Like, she is like, I don't know what that middle gray area is, but I can't do it. Even though he's probably living in it. And it's like, all he had to do was just say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, guide her and lead her. Don't sit there and just condemn her until the point that she quits. You know what I'm saying? And it's, I don't know. It's going to be interesting because she's going to try to force herself into being more of a Luke Cage role. But I guess this guy is going to try to pull her back in, which I guess is possible. But I would have never known that if I was Mr. Edith. But really good episode. Left on a really interesting cliffhanger. You know Luke Cage can't die. But, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to him. I really don't. I couldn't even guess. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this review. Keep it locked. JBS, we ain't going to stop. Y'all have a good one. Stay blessed.